Well, good afternoon, everyone. Let me fix just right in the proper place of the window. I hope you see my presentation appropriately. My name is Marcos Eguillor. I'm Spaniard. Um, I'm the co-founder, one of the co-founders, and the chief revenue officer at Videv, the place for mass online events. My pleasure to have the opportunity to share with you my thoughts, my views, my experience about events, especially online events. As a person that has been participating in many online events as professor, as speaker, and now as someone that is working full time on online events. So I'll be sharing with you my views, my experiences, my thoughts. I hope they're useful, they're good for you, they're interesting, and of course, you may not be in agreement with one or two or a lot of things that I say. That is fine. And then I would invite you to join us using the Q&A chat at any moment in time to ask your questions, to share your views and anecdotes, so we can have a bit of an interaction in this event. Please do so through the Q&A chat box, not in the uh, other chat box, so I can make sure that I read all the comments and the questions you may have and try to provide an answer in real time. Anyway, if you prefer to share your views, your comments, your questions at the very end of the session, it'll be okay. I can do it as well. Okay, I'll try to do my best to adapt in real time to your needs and interest. So once I've introduced myself, I'm sharing with you right away the takeaways of this talk, just in case you have to leave, go to another one, or just in case you want to test what is going to be my talk about. What are the key relevant elements, the outcomes? So the first one is that online events are not normal events, offline events, regular events, traditional events, whatever you want to call them, taken offline. Taken online, from offline to online. So normal events or traditional events are not regular events taken online. Second is that online events not necessarily are video conferences or streaming. In my case, my opinion, my personal experience is that, in fact, online events, for them to work properly, you have to go beyond video conferences. You have to go beyond streaming. And we will share, or I'll share some views and opinions on why you should go beyond streaming and video conferences. Let's see. Well, third point or third outcome of this session will be on why are you going to go through digital, and is that a reason for playing tricks, for doing amazing tricks with digital uh, production, post-production, and introducing elements? Well, I would advise, not because you can do it, you do it, because in some cases they create a weird feeling in the audience and participants. So not just because you have the ability to produce, to introduce digital tricks in your online event, you should do it. Well, so we've got the three key takeaways, and then now I'm going to explain and dig in some of these ideas a bit more in detail. The first question we should ask ourselves, or the first set of questions, are why we are doing online events or events as such, how should we do them, and what is an online event or an event. And I would say, out of the different exposure I've got to event organizers, the first question is super straightforward to answer, or it should be, at least, that is return on investment. An event is a tool to achieve something from a business point of view. Maybe you've got an objective that is internal to your organization. So you want to inform people in your organization, you want to train them, you want to celebrate, you have the opportunity to gauge their experiences, their views, their attachment, their engagement with your brand name. So there are many reasons why you would want to have an internal event at your organization. But what if we're going outside of your organization? You want to engage with customers? Most probably, right? Or it could be providers or partners as well. But when you celebrate, you go for an event, you usually want to achieve more sales, better branding positioning, better relationship with your customers. So there are a number of reasons that are answering the why should we go for an event. Having this in mind, we have to take into account that as a tool, we have to be as efficient as possible, right? We have to get a return on the investment that we're making. We're putting together a number of people, we're putting together a number of resources, of assets. We're putting together a lot of time from different people to make the event happen. So we have to be as effective as possible, and we have to gain back our objectives. It happens to be that, and it's been already shown, demonstrated, that an event, independently of the objective that you've got, is going to deliver better the more you're able to engage your customers, your participants. And with customers, I'm referring to internal and or external customers. So the more you're able to engage these customers, the more you will be able to get your outcome, the one that you're looking for. And how do you engage people? Well, through the following slide that we've got on the screen, that is entertainment. The point is entertaining people, making sure that they stay with you for the amount of time you want to be with them, so that they perform, they do the job you want them to do for you. But how do you entertain? Because if we're speaking about online events, you know, as of today already, that is super easy to disconnect, right? There is no price on doing so. I mean, when you are physically at a facility, at an event, it is a bit more difficult to just escape from the event, from the situation, and do other things. Of course, you can always go for your mobile phone or whatever, but when you're online, this is extremely easy. So entertainment is the absolute number one key to make sure you're able to engage your customers, your audience, and the absolute ultimate key to try to get what you're looking for with this event. So take this by heart as the number one priority for an event, entertainment. And then you'll say, Marcos, but depending on the content, entertaining people is not that easy. What if we are speaking about something that is not that interesting, not that engaging, not that fashion, not that shiny, right? You have to find a way to somehow, whatever you do, entertain your audience. And why do we need to do this? And I'm putting that much stress and effort on that because at the end of the day, let's see, entertainment is trying to get us from the issue of sharing our attention with other sources of impact, other things that are asking for our attention. Why we are? Because we are in the attention economy. So that is super normal, super natural that we have to fight against other sources of entertainment, other people, other elements, other content that is asking for our attention. In the attention economy that we live in today, the span of attention is super short, and we have to make sure that we keep the pace with our audience so they don't get distracted. With the digital environment, it is even worse, or it is even easier for our customer audiences to feel distracted or to feel the urge to move into another window of our browser or whatever. So that is the point. We can entertain people as far as we are able to keep their attention, and that is going to have an impact in the result that we're looking for in an event. And speaking about entertainment, because entertainment's got a shape that we can adapt to different objectives. We can talk, for instance, about infotainment. Infotainment means information plus entertainment. If you reflect a bit on it, um, more and more any source of information is trying to adopt um, entertainment techniques so they can keep the attention of participants. And that is not just with entertainment, especially education, and we call it edutainment. That is the mix of education and entertainment. So whenever you want to achieve something from your audience, you want them to engage, you want them to do something for you, you have to somehow entertain them in addition to the utility that you're offering to this audience. Moving forward with this, well, we all have got a very difficult year, right? With the COVID. And well, this hasn't ended yet. And this has had a huge impact in our day to day lives and activities. And we were mandated to stay at home. We had to work from home. In fact, many of us still work from home. And the point with this is we are getting bored, right? That is because we don't see many other people, because we are having a lot of video conferences, because we have a lot of things to do, and we are not having the possibility to share a bit of time with other people. Well, thanks God, events came to rescue, right? Events, especially at the beginning of the crisis of the pandemic, were adding a bit of this entertainment element to our lives. So we were able to balance a bit what was pure work, pure delivery, and pure production with a bit of entertainment and socialization. And brands, of course, saw a huge opportunity in this for them to keep in touch with their customers, right? I once had a conversation a couple of months ago with the head of the events planning department of a big telco operator in Spain. They were sharing with me that they were having conversations with their people, and some of them were saying, please don't forget about us. Don't leave us alone. And that is the comment from people working from their homes and not having enough interaction, enough connection with their peers in their day to day. And they saw events as an opportunity to at least keep track. And of course, online events are not the same as physical events. My hypothesis, my assumption for you that I'm going to share in few minutes is that online events could even be better than physical events. They have different roles, different approaches, but we have to do it super good, super right, adapt the way to do things in order to get the most out of those events so that brands can keep track, can engage, can discuss, can interact with their customers, with potential customers for more sales, upsell, cross sell, for whatever the business objective. What is the point with this? Is that I guess you, at a point in time, felt that you were attending too many events, and events are, uh, I mean, you get somehow, let's say, physically and mentally exhausted. They create stress, cognitive stress. You have had too many video conferences in the latest weeks and latest months, right? And getting the invite to another event at a point in time has been like, oh, Yet another one is that really necessary that we have that event. So we have to balance whether events as such and in an isolated manner they are good enough, they are necessary, and they have still a role in the objectives of brands with internal and external customers to help execute them. And events, beyond what is the content, beyond what is the pure utility of the thing that has been designed for the audience and for participants, has a social role, has a function to cover, that is allow people to have interactions, to know other other potential interesting people, to know their peers. In fact, in Spain, events are good excuses for getting together, talking, even with uh, topics that have nothing to do with the ones of the content of the event, to in fact have a drink together, to have a bit of ham, cheese, canapes, whatever, right? Events have a very big and important role in helping people socialize, in interact, and that is something that we cannot forget when we design an online event. The question, I guess, many of us have is: are we eventually coming back to normal? Are we going to 100% physical events? Are we going to get rid of these video conferences, streaming things, and all that once we are able to get together physically with other people that we don't know, without using the masks, when we are all vaccinated and all this? Well, my personal opinion is that this is not going to happen. And this is not going to happen because online events have proven to be super good tools for marketeers, for companies to achieve their objectives. Maybe you have to change your approach. Maybe the way you get your objectives are not the same. Maybe the results are not the same, but the ratio, the return on investment, is super good. And I'll get into more details in the following seconds, in the following moments. The point is the return on investment of big events, both online and offline, are maybe even better. Figuring out for online, what is the cost of an offline event for corporate purposes? Imagine a corporation running an event that could take, I don't know, or maybe it is an event for some hundreds of people, close to thousands of people, right? 800 people, for super senior executives, for customers. You have to do well, and so it is about the location, about the food, about the content, about the speakers, about all logistics associated to that. So it could super easily get up to, I don't know, in the range of the many hundreds of thousands of euros for one day event, or one morning or one afternoon event. It could be, I don't know, for instance, €500,000 to organize a very good top event offline. What is the cost of doing it online? Well, maybe the cost of doing it online, super good again, kind of the same objective, not the same design, but the same objective. And let's say we could go way below 100K. So should we go offline 500,000, or should we go online 100K and below? And the point is, what is the return on investment you're going to get? Well, the ratio for this, usually for online, is much better. Do you still need socialization? Are you going to have still social events, physical events, traditional events? Yes, for sure. But at this moment in time, my view, my experience says that we're going to have a lot of the events that we were making offline into online, and these are going to stay forever. Why? Because of the return on investment, because it is easier to increase the reach, it is way far convenient, and they are omni-channel, right? So return on investment high, lower results potentially. I wouldn't agree 100% on this, but you may say, well, the results are not that good, but the value, the cost is completely different. Huh? So then my questions for you are, well, I still talking. Uh, if you want to share your questions in the chat box, I'll be super happy to interact with you. Okay. So please remember, if you have questions to share, use the chat box in the Q&A area so I can interact with you. I've got some questions for you. Are we doing events right? Online events, I'm referring to online events during this talk. Are we doing events right as of today? Well, here are my views. The way I would like to share them with you are, in many cases, I guess you've got the feeling, because I've seen that as well, that many events organizers are taking offline events into online. They do not translate, they do not adapt, they just take the event on a stage, record it, and taking it online just with a Fiverr or with a whatever streaming service or video conference service. And you see that it is not natural to the channel. The channel is the message as well, right? So we have to make sure that we are able to adapt events to the channel in which those events are going to be consumed, and the channels people are going to use to interact. Another idea, a lot of events are turned into massive video conferences. So you see a lot of people, a lot of screens, a lot of videos, a lot of faces, but that creates a lot of exhausting feelings, because you are taking care of all the pictures. If you're looking good, you're looking nice, if your shirt is right, whatever. And at a point in time, we should ask ourselves, to what extent that if you're not the one speaking, if you're just attending an event, looking nice, being with a good combed hair, with whatever is relevant? Is it adding any value? Is it adding any information to both speakers, the rest of and the rest of the audience? In most of the cases, not. So can we go without a full size bidirectional video conference format? Most probably that is the case, and that will ease the participation, engagement, and entertainment dimension of the event for everyone. And last, on this, on to what extent we're doing events right, I would like to dig in dystopian digital performances. Let's say it that way. I mean, what about avatars? What about virtual reality things? Very fancy, complex, difficult interfaces that are adding few information. They're introducing a lot of complexity in the interaction process between you as an attendant and the interface that you're using to participate in the event. To what extent this is helping you celebrate the event, be part of the event, understand, get the points of the event, and have a better experience. I've got a comment from Uliana saying, I have seen throughout 2020 that at online events, attendees do not interact with expo, booth, and sponsors in the chat. They don't respond to messages sent by exhibitors. Return on investment for us wasn't that good. We need interaction. And why do you need interaction, Juliana? My personal opinion is that business comes through interaction, right? What is your view? Does it depend on the industry, format, anything else? How do you make people want to reply to you? That is an excellent question, Juliana. And I'm going to try to help you get my point of view in the following slides, but you got the key. The key is interaction. To what extent you are feeling now part of this event? You're feeling that you and I are in line discussing about something that is of relevance to you. To what extent I'm entertaining you? If I'm not entertaining you, you're not gonna get engaged. If you're not gonna get engaged, it is far more difficult for me to reach my objective, that is potentially getting a follower in social media, or get a business opportunity because I'm trying to sell you my solution, because of whatever the reason. So some of the things that you're saying there in your question, it is about the industry, the format, or anything else. I would say it depends, of course, on the topic. Some topics are not that interesting, but you can always go, let's say, creative with the way you approach your content. But especially and most importantly, it is about how do you deliver, how do you interact, how do you engage with participants. It is a lot about the speaker, but it is a lot about other figure that is super important in offline events, but in online events are even way more important. Masters of ceremonies. And I'll tell you a bit more on this afterwards. And the format, the channel that we're using, it is absolutely key. In this case, you can only interact with me through chat. I can respond via voice, but you cannot interact with your voice, with your video, if that is needed. You cannot interact through colors. You cannot interact through reactions. At this moment in time, I don't know if you like what I'm talking about, the way I'm doing it, the way I'm performing. I don't have any clue. I don't have any idea. I'm blind. I don't know how many of you are listening to me at this moment in time, right? So it is also difficult for me as a speaker to adapt in real time to your needs and interests. Maybe you're super bored, you're about to change to another window because you don't feel this chat interesting. Well, I cannot do anything on this at all as of today, unless you tell me explicitly through the chat. You're telling me, you can tell me, Marcos, please go faster, or go uh, slower, or tell us about one of your anecdotes, whatever. It is super difficult for me to make sure that you feel part of this. So to help you have a more immersive experience. So the scenario, what I call the scenario, the arena, the tool that we're using is absolutely key in the results of this event. Okay, and you're gonna see that in the following minutes, that I'm going to continue sharing tips and tricks in order to make sure that you find the right way to create an online event for your customers, because ultimately, again, you're looking for a return on investment. Thank you for your question. I'm going to share reflection with you. Uh, I'm going to speak about marketing and events. Marketing before, many years ago, was offline, right? Until, let's say, the 2000, year 2000, kind of, when it started becoming online. Just today, marketing, let's say today, marketing, online marketing is adding a lot of features, a lot of ways to track, to measure, to attribute the request and put a customer in a funnel. We are able to do many things with online marketing. And tomorrow it'll be even better, adding artificial intelligence, machine learning, other tools that we can use to delight our customers and reach our objectives that could be more branding oriented, or sales oriented, or relationships oriented, right? But what happens with events? At the same time, marketing was improving, was evolving, was getting digital. Events have done nothing. They have been offline for a big period of time, and it hasn't been until COVID, let's say, somehow, uh, as the moment in which events have become online. But I would say they are fake online. They are not giving us a real great online experience as we can have with any other entertainment platform. Remember about the entertainment thing? They're providing a fake entertainment, fake online experience. The point is, from today to tomorrow, while digital marketing is moving, is evolving, and is going to add a lot of things, from today to tomorrow, online events have to change and evolve massively to catch up with the rest of the digital environment and marketing, because events are a tool for marketing. So the point is that we are coming from a very, very far away situation in which online events were just offline events taken online. And on this, I think it is a good moment for me to start sharing my tips and trips, my recommendations, so that you're able to run online events better and achieve your objectives, right? I think we've got kind of 10 minutes before we go for the Q&A. So I'll go a bit fast, but if remember, if you've got any question at any moment in time, interact with me, engage. And so I'll try to make sure that you don't go to another thing to do. So first thing, if you're designing an event that is online, of course, how should they be? Well, mass online events, if it is a big event, let's say we're speaking about events that are for more than 100 people, okay? Events that are for more than 100 people could be as exciting and even more than physical events. It is all about entertainment. Just make sure that whatever you think about, whatever you design, whatever you run is entertaining for the participants. So you have to know them. You have your objectives for these people. Okay, what is it that makes them entertain? More things. Mass online events could be way more immersive. It is all about the engagement. Make sure you can you are able to retain people so they keep with you until the very end of the thing. Mass online events are or have to be way more participatory. It is about all about social things, interactions between speakers and audience, between the audience themselves, participants. The more participatory they are, the better. It will be easier for you to achieve your objectives. Mass online events can deliver much higher ROI, return on investment, than their counterparts that are offline, because of the cost associated to the execution of them. I've already dig into that, and I'll be happy to talk to you about this, how to get super interesting, relevant events in digital that are way cheaper than their offline counterparts. And it is about three different elements. And Uliana, you were speaking about that. You were questioning about it, right? It is about the content. It is about production, or it is about the scenario, the tool, or the way you work it out. Because take into consideration that this scenario is part of the content as well. It's part of the show, and the show is the entertainment element of our element of our objectives. And all and everything is about a participatory show. If you have people engaged, they're entertained, you're gonna be closer to reach your objectives. Now I'm going through some do's and don'ts. Okay. First, you shouldn't do is, again, take your offline event online. Clear, right? I've already gone through this previously. What should we do? Go as big as possible. If you're doing it online, do it as big as possible because the return on investment will be bigger. Just pure statistics, right? And because the bigger it is, the more massive it is, the easier will be for participants to create interactions. And we know interactions are close to the call to action, to the ultimate objective of the business. So go as big as possible. And then we have the don't, then we have the do. That is, design your show for online. Make it specific for the channel that you're going to use. And when I'm saying design for online, you have to design specifically for the tool that you're going to use. It's not the same streaming through YouTube than a video conference through Zoom, for instance. They're completely different, and you have to adapt the content, the dynamic, and the interaction, and the way you're going to talk and engage your audience to the specific platform or solution you're going to use. To take care of logistics, I'm putting all my focus, all my attention on what happens in the arena. An arena for me is whatever happens when we switch off the lights. So when we have people already putting all their focus, all their attention on something, on the actual content they want to get from this activity. But beyond the arena, you need to take care of logistics, how to make sure that people know about the event, they can log in, check in, they can get the information, they get the information in their calendars and all those things. Take care of logistics because that eases and lowers the stress of participants, and that means they are more reachable, they are more open to live the experience and do what you want them to do for you. Focus on the arena. Okay, logistics or tick. This should be done as easy and fast as possible without introducing much noise, but you have to focus on what is going to happen once you start live with the activity. Go to the point. With online events, if you remember the concept of the attention economy, it is super difficult to keep the attention of people throughout the whole event. So you have to be as direct as possible with whatever you're going to do. Ask people to remain with you, but help them stay with you with concept, concept, excuse me, content and concepts that are relevant and adding value to their interest. Make it as immersive as possible. If you provide an experience that is helping participants feel that they are part of something, it is easier for them to stay. It is going to be a bit more difficult for them to just escape, go for other experiences when they surf online, when they are going to attend their mobile phones or whatever. Help them stay. Make it as immersive as possible. Make it participatory. Once again, it is a pity that we don't have in this case a channel that is more interactive, but the more you can interact with people, the less relevant it is the content. At a point in time, people know about the ultimate content or elements of area of knowledge. They want to engage in discussions because it is about them. It is not about the rest of the people. Make it as participatory as possible. And don't think chat is participatory. Don't think chat is a way to uh, empower, to foster participation, because it is not. This is a super basic, still super basic way of interacting. We don't have any for the moment because you remember yesterday we were making events offline, but in the future, participation, and today also, as of today, there are some tools, some channels already able to deliver way more participatory and engaging experiences. go beyond chat, because in many cases you just don't want to say you like something. You would use an emoji, you would use a short text that you exchange with your people, right, through WhatsApp, for instance. So go beyond just the chat box for participation. Make it 10x dynamic. You have to do it fast. You have to make it with a lot of participants. You have to allow for people to stay with you. Their attention span is very limited. If you change the pace, if you change the speakers, if you change the content, the format, the ideas, the views, whatever they have on a screen, it'll be easier for them to keep their eyes, to keep their eyeballs, their attention on this, right? Make it dynamic. Look for change in the content, in the way you design the event. Have a great master of ceremonies, a master of ceremonies that is specialized in the digital environment, because the way you deliver an event online is completely different to the way you deliver that offline. You have to make sure that they are able to play with the audience, they are able to interact, to make people engage, to stay, to keep their eyeballs in the screen with you, right? So have a great master of ceremonies that is really, really good at digital events. Don't go video conference. Video conferences are are not designed for big mass online events. Video conferences happen to be, or video conference solutions happen to be, as of today, the basic way we are able to deliver an event, because we don't have many other options. But now there are coming new solutions, and in the future there will be many more that are going to deliver better. Remember, marketing is way ahead of us in terms of evolution. Events, we are still at a nascent moment in which we are still trying to find what is right for online events for the audience. But don't go video conference, and don't go nerd. You don't really need to go do fancy things with avatars or whatever in order to deliver a good online event. Something important: you measure the results of your marketing at your organizations, right? You measure the results of your marketing actions. Why don't you measure the results of your online events beyond attendance? So there is a long way to go in this area. And last, choose your scenario carefully. Your scenario, I'm referring to the tool, to the platform you're going to use to deliver your message, because again, the channel is part of the message, and it has a huge impact in the way you can design an event and deliver it. As a summary, as a wrap up, again, online events are not offline events taken online. Offline events are not video conferences or streaming, just that. And online events should not have digital tricks just because you can have them. Whoops, sorry. Latest comment for you is that if you want to have an epiphany moment on what a good scenario could be for that, I think, and this is my 2 seconds sales pitch, we can talk, and I'm sure we can have an interesting discussion. Super happy to have had the opportunity to engage 33 people with us today, and I'll be super open to your questions now or through email in the future if you wish. Thank you very much. What are your questions? I'll be happy to get them. Well, your questions or your comments? You don't have any? Nope. Okay, well, I don't know if that is a good sign or a bad sign. Again, I'm blind. I don't get your feedback. And feedback is absolutely key to reach our objectives. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you like it. See you.